maybe just why, like, what brought you here exactly? Um, why the two of you are working together? What your team looks like? Yeah, I'd like to go more into the domain expertise within. How does that sound?
Yeah, that makes sense. So yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
Great, excellent. So here at Tramlines, we're a fund accelerator and AI transformation platform. Um, and the first two work very uh, obviously closely together. Our fund is bog standard. We invest in pre-seed and seed companies that are based in the UK, that are B2B, and that are led by domain experts. Obviously, one caveat is that we only invest in companies that are in our accelerator. So our accelerator being our core focus and what started Tramlines is a 24-month program. Again, pre-seed to seed, domain experts in the UK, same exact terms as the fund. Um, yeah, our accelerator is a 24-month program to take any company from pre-seed and seed to Series A or exit readiness. And the way we aim to do this is by dividing everything into work streams, because we don't just expect that domain expertise from our founders, but also embody that within our team. And these work streams are led by several domain experts that directly meet with our founders. So we have product and technology led by the former CTO of Microsoft, Glenn Robinson. We have commercial strategy led by Craig Donaldson, who founded Metrobank. We have Erica Young, who leads network and distribution, who was a principal at several VCs like Alchemist. Albert, our CEO and a multi-exited founder himself, leads strategy. Andrea, our CFO, who's also been a CFO for several other startups, leads on finance. And Andy Winters leads our accelerator, but also ops and team. And he was a managing partner at Deloitte and then also ran Saudi Arabia's investment and venture arm. So the reason I'm putting these names at you and their credentials is because, like I said, that domain expertise we look for is also embodied within the team, which is why that those individual work streams exist, so that when founders need more technical or more commercial help, that we know exactly where to direct that. And on top of that, wherever there are gaps that these domain leaders can't fill, we also have an extensive IA network or an investor advisor network who have all volunteered that time as well to help with the different portfolio companies.
All right.
That's that's more of a what that's I would say that's more of the foundational offering, but more to be more concrete, that's once a month, minimum once a month, speaking with each of these domain leaders on actual hands-on operational advisory, but also what we call semesters, which are 4-month periods. So you have 6 of these over the 24 months, and at the end of each of them, you spend 1 month reviewing the objectives of the previous semester and seeing what's needed for the upcoming one. And that's what helps change the cadence. So you could say in semester one, you could say, I'm too far from commercial strategy right now. I just need to focus on my product. I need to get that right. Nothing else matters right now. You'll have a lot more hands-on time with the product work stream, a lot less with commercial. 2, 3 semesters down, you say, my product's fine now. Don't need that anymore. I need commercial help. I need investment help, whatever, right? And then that cadence changes. The reason that we have these several semesters and these several checkpoints is just to make sure that as any business grows and any business changes, so do those needs. And so our support can be so that our support can continue to be tailored to what your business needs at that time. We have these continuous checkpoints. And then lastly, on our AI transformation platform, we use that domain expertise both within our team and within our founders to help create hyper verticalized solutions for different industry problems. So that's essentially just creating very specific data orchestration layers that sit within an enterprise company to solve one particular problem that our domain experts together have identified.
All right. Cool.
And I hope that's enough like food for thought. And then now you could throw me your questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very structured way to help organizations, and I realize that different startups would have their own different journey, each and depending on when they're joining and what their requirements are. So when I look at Smart Predict, what I know for a fact that this comes from a pain I've seen firsthand. So when I was with Paytm, when I was with Barclays, and in AXA is when I realized that this is a structural problem and not by choice, but this is the way things are. When people look at complaints, they, without knowing, they have time pressures, and knowledge gaps sometimes, and human bias does play a role. And as a result, complaints are handled inconsistently. They started from a complaint. So, long story short, I got a complaint, and when I looked at it, the consumer raised the same complaint 10 times over last 12 months. And when I looked into it, I had a very different perspective, and that's how exactly it got solved, because nobody was listening to the core point, because the first guy got it wrong, and then everyone followed the trail. So that's when I realized that we need to have some QA layer. Operationally, it's not possible in financial services because the complaints teams are already short staffed and it's a cost to the business. And that's when I started tinkering with AI, and I thought, so I'm not, I would say, a developer from background. I mean, I've done coding and I've built apps, but not professionally. And then I started tinkering and I built everything from scratch. Then I got help from Karan, and Karan has been helping us to make sure that our products are right. And then we also had some conversations alongside. So, in terms of traction, we have had conversations. The one we are closest to converting is with BNP Paribas. So, they start a program every year where they select startups to work with them for their problem statement. So the problem statement which we applied for is using generative AI in consumer applications, and it made sense to them because the value prop we have is that we save time which is spent on complaints, their resources, so they can scale their business faster. Different businesses who have higher complaints like motor finance commission, for them they have to solve large complaints at scale. So each organization has different problem, and that's what we solve, because fundamentally what it is an engine which plays by the rule and generates an outcome and provides you an audit trail, and you can constantly update it. So that's what it is in very simple sense. uh, we have been lucky because usually if you just put a wrapper, right, anyone can say it's a wrapper. We've been lucky because we were funded not directly but by FCA, so they provided us credits of about 20 grand, and that enabled us to build our own custom models for each industry. So that's in a sense a certain mode that it would provide a better output compared to a standard stateless LLM call. So that's that. So I've mentioned that the stage we are at with BNP Paribas. So we have generated the output for them for some anonymized complaints we got, and now that is under review. So hopefully by this week we should have a response from them, and we will proceed with the next steps. Having said that, I see this turning into a paid pilot in about 3 months from now. Usually they have 18 months life cycle from the previous batches, but now they have got focused on this, so it's about 12 months now. So that's where I'm looking to convert this. Then this Friday I have a demonstration, a pilot discussion with Elika Bank. So that's that. There are two more conversations. One is with a private bank in London, and then one with AXA, but they are deprioritized at this stage because their priorities are different at this stage. But those are like open communication. Having said that, now about traction, we are only here so far because it's not a full time role for me yet. But then the full time job I have works very closely with this because I work for the ombudsman. I'm an investigator. So when I'm working at FOSS, I'm learning and understanding how it can be better for Smart Predict. So that's what is funding the costs for us at this stage. Not too much, but that's where we are. And I think we can use and we can get more clients if we are able to devote more time on our GTM, because that's not something I have done. I understand that you have to do outreach system through LinkedIn, through emails, cold calling, and events. But then that demands more involvement, and I think that's where we can grow faster if we focus more efforts there. Uh, and so far, what we have built is an MVP, which is, as you might be already have guessed, that's built predominantly using AI. But yeah, that's the product. We have brought in a CTO who is in a capability which is at this point in time fractional, and he's now involved with checking the infrastructure, whether we have the current safety and security procedures in place properly or not. So that process has also been started. Yeah, so that's the plan. How I look at Tramlines helping us is, like I said, we do need that structured support. And what my view is that it's not just limited to the UK alone. Of course, there's a clear incentive because if a complaint goes to FOSS, banks pay 650, and then there are operational costs which are comparatively higher. But then financial institutions exist everywhere, and I've seen this across two continents. So yes, it can help because it's more niche because you are solving which is heavily controlled by regulations. So you need to have that understanding that which regulatory aspects apply to each complaint handling and how to properly ensure that they are adhered to. Plus, there is again question about responsible AI and preventing any errors AI can make. So how you fix that? So that learning is with us as well, and that's something which I want to take global. That's the thought process I have at this stage.
Super interesting. Thank you. And yeah, I think obviously huge work to get those enterprise conversations as well. I wish you good luck with the BNP Paribas conversation, evaluation, sorry. Um, Before I ask some questions, Karan, do you want to give us an intro as well, just so here we all, I mean, at least I have, sure you both know each other, but so I have some background as well.
Yeah, hi Ria. So I'm Karan. I'm in India right now. I started. It's been almost 9 years. I've been in the industry. I started out in HP as a RPA engineer, which is robotics process automation. So my job was to automate back office operations, among other things, and majorly the finance department of HP as well as other departments. Gradually, with the advent of AI, right, I moved to agentic automation more and more, building out the pipelines, defining the architecture. And in 2024 is where I resigned and became a freelancer. And during those one of those gigs, I got introduced to Manish, and I was already doing a similar work, and I was really interested in the vision that Manish had and the product that he had. So I came on board, and it's been great collaborating ever since. I've been working on the product, defining the vision, and making it more enterprise ready. So that's where we're at right now.
Thank you both.
Yeah.
Okay, super interesting. I think so. Sorry, the current like pilot, so to say, that you run with BNP is that. Can you walk me through? Sorry, can you walk me through how the software works? Is this like a plug and play that you install in their systems? And if so, what does the onboarding look like? What kind of involvement does that have from you? Is there some sort of services, the regular servicing you need to do? What's the pricing structure like? Sorry, okay. So if I'm a customer, what does the next year look like for me, for instance?
So how we look at it that
You're on
it's a
mute.
stand. Oh, so it's a standalone application. At this stage, the discussion we have had with BNP Paribas, and that's the starting approach for any pilot, that it's a standalone on-prem deployment which happens, and the client has a choice whether they want to use their own in-house LLMs or if they want to deploy our model through a container, or if they want to use any cloud-based LLMs. So that's how the standard LLM works. In terms of pricing, we are yet to define the exact pricing, but broadly speaking, how I look at it from an enterprise which is handling in tune of more than 1,000 complaints a month, then the annual price is around 75K. That's the gross price plus, of course, the VAT which comes into the play. And then there is a cost for support, any customization. And I'm talking the vanilla product at this stage, right? If they want to use Smart Predict as a model, then there is additional cost depending on how many complaints they want to look at. Again, it would vary depending on the deployment, whether it's on-prem or cloud-based, because if it's cloud-based, then we are going to incur some costs. So they gets added on, and that's the broad structure. For small financial institution, it would be somewhere in tune of 20K, because that's the minimum we would need to make sure that the product aligns to those requirements they have and make sure that it works the way it should. Plus, and then the integration with their CRMs, that's a different ball game. That's depending on how much time we spend on getting the job done. So it's depending on how the scope of work is defined. So that's the broad pricing strategy we have at this stage. Yeah, that's about it. And is there anything I missed other than that?
Is that a question for me or for Karan?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. Did I miss anything? Did
No,
I
no,
answer
no,
your
that
question?
sounds good. That makes sense. Thank you. I was wondering also, sorry, it's just slipped my mind completely. Um, Sorry, you were mentioning you have a team. You mentioned a fractional CS CTO. Is the team just you, Karan, and the fractional CTO at the moment?
No, so
No, no right or wrong answers, but I just wanted to
yeah, so
ask. Yeah.
so how it works is that when you look for a CTO, you need someone who has built products for financial firms and deployed that, and that's why
Mhm.
we brought Richard Danks as a fractional CTO at this stage. He is doing that for us pre bono at this stage, and it would be formalized when we have either clients or funding at a later date. Karan does all the, I would say, standardizing. So I build the prototype. Karan builds the product for the businesses based on the discussions I have, and I do the demos and everything. And
Mhm.
Richard looks at the security and the enterprise readiness of our product. So that's that. But this is just the platform and the solution. For core AI models which we got built, we have Devansh on our team. So he's an intern based in India, and he's been working with me since we were part of that FCA sandbox program last year, and he has done all the modeling for us. So I offered him, okay, I told him that this is how you're supposed to build it, and he went ahead and trained the models and developed and tested those for us so far. So that's the core team at this stage for us.
Okay, thank you. I'm also just wary of time. So do you have any questions for me before I hog all the time, so to say?
No, it's all right. I mean, that we have extra time if it goes beyond, and if it's okay to you, we're
Yeah.
happy to answer your questions. No worries.
No, no. Do you have any questions for me as well? So I,
Yes, like how does Tramline, see Smart Predict is a fit for the program, and how does it flow? What the next steps ahead is what I'm going to ask it.
of course, yeah, absolutely. So in terms of next steps, I will take my notes from this call and just sit down with the team, send them the materials that you've sent as well, and we'll have an internal discussion about whether it's a good fit. But we're currently evaluating for our September cohort, which is again the 24-month program starting in September, but we onboard before that for about 6 weeks. So you'll get a decision very shortly, actually, because we're aiming to make all our decisions by the end of this month. And again, in terms of next steps, so I'll sit down with the team and then get back to you on what the next steps would be. If the team and I think it's a good fit, then you'd have a conversation with one of our domain leaders who best understands the financial product industry. And yeah, and then if that echoes well, you're interested in music. That's the last step.
All right, perfect. So yeah, I think that covers it. I mean, we are yet to know more about it, so we'll know as we go on the journey. So that's fine.
No, absolutely. I mean, the Tramlines model is based on backing pre-seed and seed companies. It's that's exactly why we have the multiple semesters, the multiple checkpoints, because everyone's figuring things out. Our job is, and what we're agreeing to is to be that scaffolding around you as you're doing it.
Right. And typically, the kind of startups you accept in the program, are they far ahead of where we are, or are they behind where we are, or like stage wise, or are we at a decent stage where you think it makes sense for Tramlines to proceed? Like no commitments, I get it, but what's your view? Yeah.
No, I think you're at a good stage. I think you're a little further along than what we have invested in the past. But that's not a bad thing. Our whole model is rather than sitting in a room or on a Teams call or whatever and hypothesizing on what your product can look like, build it, go out, talk to customers. That's exactly what you're doing.
I see.
So
Yeah.
I think it's excellent that you have these conversations going.
Mhm.
And while that was just an honest answer of we've had some earlier stage startups, there's no right again, right? There's no right or wrong answer.
Right.
There's no that doesn't deduct or add points, so to say, in any way. It's again more about whether the team sees a market opportunity and whether it doesn't collide with anything else in our portfolio.
Makes sense.
Um, can I ask what your current outreach strategy has been like? How have you come across BNB um, and Alika Bank and everyone?
So, our approach at this stage is because we are slightly limited on time. So, I apply to the innovation program directly from the financial institutions. And then
Mhm.
once we get through, when our product is aligned with their theme, that's when it makes sense. So, That's how we got connected to BNP Paribas. I was at AXA, so that's how I got that connect. At Alika Bank, I met their compliance head at an event where I was sharing the
Nice.
demo. So that's how I met them. And then there are a few networks which I'm a part of who support startup founders, so they do get the introductions. So there's Swift community, which got me those introductions with the private bank in London.
Mhm.
Uh, and then I have a conversation with Bajaj Finance in India at a personal level with someone I knew, but that's kind of silent for some months now, kind of dormant. So I wouldn't count that.
Okay.
One thing I missed to add is in terms of investment. So we had a few investment offers, so not too big. So there was a cohort in India in November, no, in December 2025. I was supposed to join, but the valuation and amount was like didn't make sense. They were offering 25 lakhs for 10%. So I thanked them happily and said, yeah, we'll talk later. Plus, there is a syndicate. I don't remember their name exactly, but we have a listing on Barclays demo directory. They reached out to us and they say they are happy to fund our EIS round. Their strategy is that they fund if there is an angel investor in place, and then they do the EIS funding. They don't look at SEIS bit. So they are happy to come along if there is already some lead investor. But our conscious point is, and that I have realized with time, that you get better funding at better valuation if you have clients and you are, I mean, profit is far-fetched, but yeah, if you're earning revenue and you have demonstrated that you have a sales playbook, then it would make sense to talk about it. That's our thought process.
That makes sense. And how much are you raising now, if I
Uh,
can ask?
So, like I said, we are not raising actively. So, for example, if someone asks me, it varies depending on what kind of equity they are asking for, and a ballpark figure for us to get a runway for us to go full guns blazing, it would be about 300K approximately, and that gives us runway of about 24 months, if not more. That's my
Wow. Okay.
understanding. The reason being is we don't need much of a team. The key thing is if I'm able to spend more time on the business, I can get those sales as well, and I can get those conversations,
Yeah,
and that's what I'm going to focus on, because when you have the conversations with the client, that's when you get the revenue and convert, and that solves everything for you. You bring in revenue, everything gets solved.
that makes sense. On one thing I've got to make note of during the next step conversation as well is if this goes forward, I'm just giving you a heads up. If it moves forward with the team, I'll also invite you to our cohort day on the 20th, which is some of our current founders and some of our potential founders essentially co-working for the day in Farringdon in London if you're based nearby. There's no again, that's not the next stage. There's no right or wrong answer there either.
You're
But
saying 20th of this month, July?
yes,
Yeah, so as long as I get the notice in, and is it like after 5 p.m. or before or during the whole day?
it's the whole day.
Yeah, so I can apply for an off one day, so that's not a big deal. I can match that.
Okay, absolutely. I'll aim to get back to you sooner then because I know you'll have to apply sooner.
All right. So, all right. I think that's all from our end then.
I think same. I think you have my email address. I'm here for any questions. I will send my notes to the team along with your materials so that we have an answer quickly. And I will get back to you on the 20th as soon as I can.
All right. No worries. So looking forward to that then, Ria. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
About the 20th, not on the 20th. That's
Oh
what
yes, of course.
I
Yes.
I hope that was clear. Yeah.
Yeah. So no worries. Well, thanks for your time, Ria. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.